Hi there, I'm April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio, and I'm going to be showing you the easiest way there is to join in a new skein of yarn. It doesn't involve any knots, it's very secure, and it weaves in your ends as you go. In this example, I'm going to be knitting. You can use the same method with crochet, and if you look at the link in the description, you'll see a post on my website where I show pictures and written explanations of how to do this with crochet. So let's get started. I have been knitting this swatch in King Cole Comfort Baby DK, and I went ahead and just cut my yarn here, but if you had been close to running out of yarn at this point in your knitting, I'm leaving just kind of eyeballing it about 12 inches here. So I'm going to take the end of my next skein of yarn and I'm going to overlap it with the end that I already have here. So you can see here I've got like maybe an extra inch past where this is coming off my knitting. And I'm just going to knit double-stranded for a bit with both ends. Oh, let's bring this down here. So I'll be knitting double-stranded, and I've got both ends overlapping. So you can see as I'm doing that, each of my stitches here is actually made of 2 strands of yarn. You'll just have to remember when you go back and knit through them again that you've got to go under both strands for 1 stitch. So we just knit double-stranded until we use up all but maybe the last inch or so of that first end. Well, use all of it if you can, but usually that last little bit is going to stick out. That's okay. And you might have to make an extra effort to hold them together as you get to the end of that first end. So now I'm going to turn my work and I'm purling on this side to work in stocking stitch or stockinette stitch, however you like to refer to it. I'm going to slip the first stitch, and remember that's 2 strands, and then I'll be purling, working under both strands here. So again, I want to try to keep my ends together. Okay, at this point I have used up that first end, so I'm just going to be purling, making sure that I go under both strands of each of those stitches where I was working double-stranded. There, now you can see that bit of end that I had sticking out there. Go ahead and work to the end of this row and then turn around and show you how it looks on the right side of the fabric. Right, turn this around so you can see how that looks. So a lot of times where you started the join, the stitch will be a little bit loose, so you might have to kind of give that end a little tug to tighten it, but this looks fine. So what do we have here? If you look really close, you can see the stitches where I worked double-stranded. You can kind of tell that they look double-stranded, but not much. It's pretty hard to tell that there's anything different about those. I'm going to knit a few more rows so that that join is down further into the fabric and then come back and show you what it looks like. I finished a few more rows of knitting and I'm back on a right side row. And I think that you and I can both agree that that join is not visible. If you look really, really close, you can kind of see that the stitches here are double-stranded, but it's very, very subtle. And from a distance, as you're, wearing whatever it is you've made or using it, you're not going to see it, and nobody's going to see it. You can trim off this extra little bit from the ends here. You can see the join on the back, how it's like a little bit bulkier here, but on this side it's not visible. So this is the easiest way to join in a new ball of yarn. It's secure, it doesn't use knots. Just make sure that you keep that overlap nice and long. Don't try to overlap only a few inches of yarn because that will not be secure, it will come undone. You need to leave that overlap good and long, like maybe 10 to 12 inches like I did. So that is how you join in a new ball of yarn.